An employee of Nike, or a former employee, is making the rounds with a video that is currently going viral on the internet discussing the situation involving Nike Caitlin Clark. The slow play that they're doing even shows how much their stock is falling off the shelf. Now let's talk about this video, which you may have already seen, but I'll show it to you again. Caitlin Clark, a former 15-year employee of Nike in the women's division, completely changed the course of events, upended the sneaker industry, and may have caused Nike to sweat after Adidas made a move so audacious that it made. Remember, this is a huge game for Caitlin, who is returning to her alumni in Iowa and hitting that huge logo 3 during the game. Some of her sponsors would want to show their support on social media and do any kind of marketing to uplift her and uplift their brand. And one company did that, Gatorade. LeBron checked his contract twice. But Caitlin didn't just clap back. She dropped a bombshell. Now fans are going crazy. Twitter is on fire, and sneakerheads are questioning their life choices. They posted a picture of her and said, "Real home court advantage. Welcome back to Iowa, Caitlin Clark." One of her main sponsors, Nike, was notably silent yesterday. Many people were tweeting about it, asking why it was Nike and Nike basketball and why none of their accounts mentioned it. Yes, it's a preseason game, but this is a big day for Caitlin because she's going back to her love. However, Caitlin Clark didn't just drop money on the court. It appears that she dropped a lawsuit's worth of receipts on Nike without even trying. The swoosh is looking less like a symbol of athletic greatness and more like a sinking checkmark of broken promises. And yes, Nike broke their end of the bargain. The company that essentially invented sports endorsements is now ignoring its biggest rising star like a bad Tinder date with commitment issues, Maggie. We need to talk about Caitlin Clark because you wouldn't talk about her. I care a lot about you because I worked for your marketing organization for more than 10 years and spent years trying to get into your organization. It's been 3 years since I left your company, and I'm just here as a... I care about you, friend. I want to show you 2 charts. The first shows your stock price, which has dropped by almost 60% since 2021. Your executives and those making these decisions have worthless stock options. Meanwhile, you have the biggest influencer in American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow persuaded yourself that you should slow down. Let me show you the Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. One of them, Angel Reese, is the only one who can compete with Caitlin Clark, and you don't have her. She is over at Let's Talk Brass Tacks. When Adidas is out here doing power squats with $100 0-cent bills, ready to bench press the entire women's sports industry, how in the world is Nike not going full-on Caitlin Clark phenomenon? They have the most popular women's athlete in the world, and they still don't have a Caitlin Clark shoe out? I'm stunned by this. Women's basketball right now, and Nike chose to treat her like an afterthought in a clearance bin. You don't offer a generational talent a meh deal while simultaneously fluffing up every other face in the league like they're the second coming of Jordan. The moment Caitlin Clark's camp appeared even the slightest bit irritated with Nike, Adidas appeared with the words, "Hey, we brought you your own line of signature colorways and an endless supply of actual respect. She began playing in the WNBA, and you should have rolled out for every young girl in America that Caitlin Clark won. That should have been the baldest women's tennis shoe that has ever existed." They sent an entire shoe bouquet with personalized branding in addition to flowers. In a gym full of Swifties, a group of marketing strategists are prepared to make her more famous than Taylor Swift. Much discussion has centered on Caitlin Clark's signature shoe and the Nike deal, and because of how much Nike has been dragging their feet and pushing the Caitlin Clark button, fans began to speculate that perhaps this deal isn't as official as we initially believed it was. We won't get a signature shoe, no news of a shoe for the entire season, no merchandise, no commercial, and no commercial. The real kicker is that if Clark signed with Adidas, her shoe line would not only sell, but would completely destroy Wilson's sales charts because being conservative. Kids would be buying them on StockX faster than you can say setback 3, and they would be showing up at school in Clark 1S like they were wearing holy relics. If Nike can't see that, Caitlin dumps them like a bad haircut before prom. Give them a mirror and a resignation letter in one perfectly arched jump shot. Out at Foot Locker once more, as if it were 1996 and the Air Jordans had just been released, Nike forgot who they were dealing with. Caitlin is not a novelty act. She is not the newest thing on the scene. She is the league's future. And instead of giving her an empire, they sent her a shoe deal with the same vigor as a possible RSVP to your wedding. This was a huge mistake because when fans learned about it, hashtags began to fly, threads were written, NBA players' side aim SportsCenter sources suddenly became very chatty. And let's just take a moment to discuss that Angel Reese promo image. She's leaving a photo shoot for a 2010 reality show reunion special. You may recall this billboard that was placed in Iowa, which is one of the last times Nike has done anything for Caitlin Clark. They promoted her more during her time in college than they did during the entire WNBA season. She signed an 8-year, $28 million, 0 cents contract with Nike that included her own signature shoe, which, when you think about it now, is a great deal for this superstar when a player like WNBA's, like the Nike deal, was rumored to be worth over $100 million, 0 cents. In addition to having an amazing rookie season, Caitlin has changed the WNBA's GBK look. We're not saying Angel doesn't deserve attention. Rather, we're asking how that became the main representative of your rookie class. Meanwhile, Sophie, who, let's face it, plays for the same team as Caitlin and is different from half of the people in Nike ads, a baller with stats, is inexplicably missing from the Fever 3 player spread, where Caitlin, Aaliyah Boston, and Sophie Cunningham all do something fierce with lighting. And at the Basketball Queens WNBA edition reunion episode, we get one awkwardly cropped pic of Angel Reese standing like she's about to read someone for filth. Sophie is out there taking shots, diving for rebounds, and playing for a team that is literally at the center of this new women's basketball renaissance, and you forget she even exists. It's not just a bad PR move, it's a PR faceplant. It's like being handed Beyonce, Adele, and Adele for a halftime show and picking Jason Derulo makes sense. Meanwhile, Adidas would have made Sophie the new face of their training line and slapped her on a... Oh, the contrast is embarrassing. Let's go back to the shoe war because it's about to get brutal. Imagine Adidas releases the Clark 1 Fire Edition, which sells out in 4 minutes. 3 minutes later, children cry in the parking lot and grown men fight over toddler sizes. She feels that this Nike deal has been motivated by race, and she thinks that there is a discrepancy in how Nike prioritizes and rewards athletes like Caitlin Clark. And it's just that she's claiming that athletes like Caitlin Clark are receiving better deals than other athletes, particularly women of color. She also vented her frustration on social media in her podcast, The Reese Life, implying that Nike was not treating all WNBA players fairly. Meanwhile, Nike continues to act as though offering Caitlin a limited release is exclusive, even though it's incredibly disappointing. They likely assume that placing her in a group deal would look cooperative, but it looks lazy. Call it a campaign and put all the girls in one bucket. If Nike had a suggestion box, it would be exploding right now. And if we're being completely honest, this may be the moment Caitlin realizes that her brand doesn't belong in a boardroom PowerPoint. She's not just a bullet point. She's the entire damn presentation. She sells out arenas, inspires cross-country broadcasts, and makes 40-foot shots look like casual layups. She's built her name, her brand, and her influence without Nike's assistance. Honestly, despite them, why not choose Adidas? They're bold, hungry, and willing to risk everything on a woman who literally changed the game. If she asked, they would probably give her a whole division and let her rename it Clark Performance. Let's face it, her fan base would follow her like Moses in the sneaker aisles while Nike plays catch up like they're late to gym class. Meanwhile, Caitlin is casually redefining what it means to be a rookie star while feigning that the shoe drama doesn't even exist. which naturally makes it even more of a thing throughout the season. And it made people wonder if the deal we all believed to be final, signed, and completed was actually less completed than we had assumed, or if they were renegotiating, or if Caitlin Clark had retracted her position and said, whoa, let's revisit this clause that I said if this doesn't get done in this amount of time, we need to revisit that. But today was the Nike quarterly call. The reality is that this is about more than just a sneaker contract. It's about respect, acknowledgement, and visibility. And it's also about not pressuring the world's top women's basketball player used a one-size-fits-all marketing strategy in the hopes that she wouldn't notice spoilers again. She did, and so did everyone else. Therefore, Nike violated the contract, not just the legal one, but the moral one, which states, you lift us, we lift you. As if it were a signed napkin from a brand lunch meeting, they handed Caitlin a copy of a group deal and a dull pen instead of lifting her. They told her not to strut into Adidas headquarters to sign the largest endorsement deal in women's sports, and then watch as her first signature sneaker creates a swoosh-shaped hole in the entire industry. Just when you thought Nike couldn't mess up anymore, they pull off the ultimate plot twist. Hey, guess what? We're launching a shoe for A'ja Wilson, which is great for A'ja, and she deserves it. Nike has had a terrible week in the media, bro. What's crazy is that everything started off great. They released a fantastic Super Bowl commercial, and everyone was for Nike. You want to know what Nike did. You're waiting in on. During the week leading up to the Super Bowl, they released the amazing Caitlin Clark commercial. The following day, they made a mistake and released another commercial in which they failed to mention Caitlin Clark's name. Just yesterday, they re-edited the commercial and added a voiceover saying things like, my goodness, if I were Nike, I'd just be quiet right now. But it raises the most awkward, flaming red flag-like question, where the hell is Caitlin Clark's shoe? Oh, that's probably in a dusty Google Drive folder alongside a list of people Nike forgot to. During the NBA Finals in 2023, Angel Reese is out there getting more camera time with Nike than LeBron's Cavaliers. She is everywhere, but Nike seems determined to make her the face of the league's next chapter, while also ignoring the woman who is literally carrying the rookie class on her back like she has a backpack full of bricks in court vision. This is beginning to feel more like a full-blown identity crisis or possibly a midlife sneaker meltdown than a marketing tactic, because while Caitlin is lighting up arenas, record-breaking viewership, and sending social media into a tailspin every time she sinks a 30-feeder, Nike is busy giving the microphone to players whose most viral highlights involve outfits. Okay, so let's talk about Caitlin Clark and Nike. Now, I was thinking about yesterday's event, and that's what it was, a sporting event between the Fever and the Brazil national team that we watched yesterday afternoon. If you're wondering why there are different haters for Caitlin Clark's games, it's because they are real events. Nike treating Caitlin Clark like the girl you call only after your other brand ambassadors are busy is hilariously out of touch. If this were a dating show, Adidas would be entering with roses and a handwritten sonnet, while Nike would be texting from the corner, you up at 2:00 a.m. And now they want us to get hyped about A'ja's shoes again? Love A'ja, she's a beast. But Nike's over here trying to sell us a stale croissant with sprinkles, screaming, it's popular, while completely ignoring the bestseller that's printing money every time she plays. And it's not like Caitlin's been silent. She's doing everything right, showing up, playing hard, being gracious, building the league, yet she gets treated like a nice bonus instead of the main event. Imagine Tom Brady winning his rookie Super Bowl and getting told, cool. Adidas wouldn't dare, though, as they would have by now placed Caitlin Clark's face on cereal boxes, Snicker tongues, and possibly the moon. Instead, we're making a new Gatorade commercial with the backup kicker. The A'ja Wilson sneaker was allegedly kept a secret for 2 years, and last year when people were yelling for Caitlin Clark to have a sneaker, Nike was being drugged through the coals because A'ja Wilson didn't have one. They then made it appear as though they were going to change their minds and give Asia Wilson a sneaker first, but that was a 2-year lie. When Nike unveiled the Asia Wilson sneaker yesterday, Cheryl was featured in the entire Clark campaign with QR codes. This led to the release of holographic signatures, behind-the-scenes training footage, and possibly even a line of custom step backs. Let's face it, Adidas shoes are currently far superior. They're sleeker, higher performing, and don't hesitate to innovate. Nike's strategy is beginning to resemble a toddler choosing favorites based on who gave him candy.